Hey dads, welcome back to the Fit Dad Club podcast. My name is Jason Barrett. No Travis Jones this week. He had some appointments to take care of. So you've got me flying solo on today's episode. And what I wanted to talk about today is why fitness and why your health needs to be a whole life approach. Why you need a whole life approach to looking at your health and your fitness. Too many people look at their fitness in a vacuum. Too many people look at their fitness as this one isolated part of their life, but it is something that affects everything. And it is something that is affected by everything. So before I get stuck into this, I want you to know, if you can, leave a rating and a review. If you're on Spotify or Apple or YouTube, give us a like, give us a comment as well. Let us know any subject that you would like us to tackle, anything that you would like to hear from us about. If you've DM'd us on Instagram as well, I think we've got a couple of topics that we're going to run through over the next couple of weeks when we can jump back into it together. But yeah, just wanted you to know that you can reach out to us and let us know. Otherwise, we'll just keep going the way we're going. But with that said, when it comes to fitness being a whole life approach and needing a whole life approach for your fitness, the reason why, I guess the term that we would use here is holistic, right? Holistic doesn't just mean like woo-woo, crystals, spiritual, essential oils and shit like that. It just fundamentally means looking at the whole picture. Being holistic means looking at the entire system and going, oh, cool, well, what's going on? What's going well? What's not going well? Because there's so much that affects fitness in direct ways and in indirect ways. And there's so many different areas of your life. You've got your relationship, both intimate and also with your friends, your social peer group. You've got your work, your career, not only the environment that you're working in, but your progression, the income you're bringing in and how that affects things. You've got stress, you've got social commitments, you've got a whole different range of things within your life that you need to be across, that are going on, that are going well, that are not going well, that all affect your fitness in some way, shape, or form. It's not just, hey, I need a workout plan, I need to hit my steps, and I need to, get a meal plan to hit. That's not how fitness works. A lot of times people will see that as the solution and go, all right, well, that's just what I need. I just need a workout plan, I need a meal plan, and I'll follow it and get it done. But what are the things that prevent you from acting on those things, right? It's your family life. You've got young kids. You can't follow a training plan that's 3, 4, 5 days a week because you might be struggling with time. They might be waking up throughout the night and you've got to work a 12-hour shift, and then you come home and then it's stressful and then you're not sleeping well. And then you go to the gym and you injure yourself because you're under-recovered from the week. So that's an area that might affect you because your kids are affecting your sleep. Your sleep will affect your training, and your training will affect your mood and your performance, and et cetera, et cetera. And not only that, but a lack of sleep. And there's so many different things that cause a lack of sleep. You've got stress with your work, right? Some people might be going through crisis at work. You might be dealing with some relationship stuff. You might be just dealing with some straight up self-worth and mental health stuff. And that could be affecting your sleep. That sleep not being on point is going to dramatically affect your fitness. It's going to dramatically affect your health. It's going to dramatically affect how much muscle you can gain, how much fat you can lose, your hunger levels, your training ability, all of that stuff. So if there's any area of your life that's affecting your sleep, that's going to be sort of key number one. That's going to be a big flow-on effect and a big reason why your fitness isn't where it needs to be. It's not just then, I need to eat less calories and do more steps. You need to sort out the other shit going on in your life that will then help your sleep, that will then help your fitness. The second thing we look at then is stress. And the things that tend to cause a stress also tend to cause a lack of sleep. So things like your work, things like your relationship, things like the social load with your kids and just time in general for yourself. The lack of those things and financial pressures from renting or trying to buy a house or having other goals in your life too, all of those things play a role. And if you do not have good coping mechanisms for stress, you will rely on the default coping mechanisms. And this is one of the key things when dads come on board with us, we start to talk about is where your stress level's at and what do you currently do to deal with hard days, to deal with stress. For some people, it's drinking. For some people, it's drugs. For some people, they shut down. For some people, they yell and scream and, yell at their kids and yell at their wife, whatever. Like we all handle our emotions differently in different ways. And, it's not always the best, but we're all trying to do the best with what we've got. And the key here is then understanding, well, how do we manage stress? And how do we work through stress, not just bottle it up until it kind of explodes, but how do we work through it? For some people, that might be going for a run, going for a walk, lifting some weights, talking to the person that's, that they need to talk to, their partner or someone that's stressing them out. And it's like, cool, let's have a conversation about it when I can. And, maybe it's journaling or meditation, writing down your feelings, how you're feeling about the situation and how it's affecting you and getting it out of your system, right? Because otherwise it stays bottled up. So stress management and moving through stress and letting go of stress is a huge component of your fitness. And the things that cause you stress, it's not, oh, where am I going to fit in my workout more often than not? Although, sometimes that does add to the plate. It's, hey, I'm stressed because financially we're struggling. All right, cool. Well, even though we are not, we're not accountants, part of what we then recommend is going, all right, well, let's sit down and do a budget, right? Have you made that step towards doing that? Okay, well, just like if you wanted to feel better in your health and fitness, you'd put together a plan, you'd start making an actual plan to work towards. When it comes to your finances, you need to do the same thing. So we'll go, all right, well, let's alleviate the stress, which is affecting your fitness, by creating a budget. Taking the time to sit down, go through a budget, and work out where are things going, where is it coming in, where is it going out. Because once you have more information, you also have more control, and you also can feel better about it. Because it's hard when it's esoteric, like, oh, there's lots of bills coming in. Well, let's add up exactly how much is coming in and how much is going out, and let's start to get a bit of a picture of, all right, well, then where do we need to cut out? It becomes a same thing as looking at your diet and going, oh, well, we had a big expenditure in having KFC on the weekend. That's something we could probably cut out for a leaner option, and you'd be a lot happier, right? And a lot of people, when they start a fitness plan, they often end up saving money because you're not eating out as much. You're not paying, $12 and 15% on your Uber Eats because you're getting delivery, takeaway Macca's or whatever it is. So stress is a big component, and all of the different things that go into stress. Part of that is then going, all right, well, how do we handle our relationships? If our relationship's causing us stress, or our lack of relationship is causing us stress, how do we deal with that? How do we have a better conversations with our wife, with our partner, with our friends, with our kids, so that we are not constantly highly strung? So those areas of life all make a really big impact on your fitness. It's not and primarily through sleep and stress, because they take up a lot of mental effort, and that causes you to sleep poorly, which reduces your capacity to do the things you need to do from a fitness perspective, because sometimes choosing the chicken salad over the fried chicken burger is difficult. Sometimes making that choice until you're really ingrained in it is hard. So you need to build up your tolerance and build up your reservoir of the ability to have that willpower. You need to build up that reservoir, and that is eaten away, as I'm sure all of you know as dads, and you don't get a good night's sleep. Same as when you're stressed. When you're constantly got a high level of cortisol, you're going to be looking to alleviate that stress, to distract yourself from the problems that are going on with whatever vice it is. It might be a bag of chips, it might be drinks, it might be drugs, whatever. Everyone has their ways of coping with those things. Some of them are healthy, some of them are unhealthy. Some of them are contributing towards you getting a better body and better life and better health and helping you let go of it. And some of them are just distracting you and bottling it up and causing you to then later on explode, which are unhealthy. And honestly, when it comes to stress, leading you towards an early grave. So when you are considering your health and fitness, when you are considering going on any kind of a health transformation journey, you need to be holistic, and you need to know that if you have a coach, that they're going to look at things holistically too. Fitness is not a vacuum. It is not one area of your life in isolation that we can just work on, because everything else affects it. Because you're going to be eating 3-4 times a day. You're going to be training once a day, every other day, right? You're going to be going for walks. You're going to be doing these things daily. And if there are things that affect your mood, there are things that affect your stress, your sleep, your ability to do these things, your time management, right? Or your level of just commitments in terms of a time perspective. You need to know what these things are, and we need to know, well, how can we put a plan in place? And we call it constraint hacking with the Fit Dad Club. How can we put a plan in place around your constraints, around your current situation? How can we address some of the constraints that we can, right? We change the ones that we can, and we accept the ones that we can't. How do we do that? And what plan fits those criteria and will still allow us to move forward? And it's really easy to find that plan when you've got the experience. But it's very difficult when you're doing it for yourself, because we often think, oh, well, I've got to train 5 days a week and I've got to eat nothing but meal prep chicken breast and broccoli, and I don't have time for that. And fuck, chicken breast and eggs are getting expensive, and they said eggs are really healthy, but I can't get any at my shop, so I might as well just go get some KFC. I'm shitting on KFC a little bit, but it's an easy culprit. But what I'm really getting at here, and what I really want you to take away, is that fitness isn't in a vacuum. It is a part of our entire life, and it is affected by other parts of our life. So a good coach will bring up those areas and go, cool, well, you're dealing with marital stress, you're dealing with stresses at work. All right, well, let's take a look at what is in your control, what is out of your control, what can we do to manage the flow-on effects from those? Because the the worth of a coach and the worth of having someone in your corner isn't in them just going, oh, here's a perfect plan that will get you the results. You just need to stick to it 100% of the time. It's in their ability to help mold and adapt and look at the things that aren't as obvious and go, how is this affecting you, right? I had a client just this week who was telling me, I had actually no idea about it until he told me about it, but 4 weeks ago, he was starting to have trouble sleeping because there was some stuff going on with his work. And I was like, that was coincided right with the time when he started retaining a lot of weight, not really dropping, and his sleep was getting really poor. So I was like, cool, well, that is an area that we really need to focus on now. And that's the reason why the holistic approach works. And the holistic approach is important because you have these other areas that affect it. But if you don't bring them up, and if you don't talk about them or acknowledge them, or you don't think they're related, you can go through life thinking, oh, why this plan isn't working? It's like, well, there's a whole other aspect of what's going on that needs to be addressed. So whenever you're considering going on a fitness journey and starting that off, I'm not saying wait until your life is perfect before you start a fitness journey. That's not what I'm saying, because your goal is to create something that you can still do in hard times, right? When things are busy, you still need to be able to do a little bit of training, you still need to be able to eat well. You want that to be part of who you are. And then it's just going, oh, well, what's the lowest bar that I can make work, even when I'm stressed out, even when things are going wrong? And then it's about increasing your capacity by dealing better with stress, by having better patterns for sleep, by doing all of this stuff that helps you improve those other areas of life so that your fitness can improve. So that is the podcast for me today. I just wanted to do a quick one on that because I think it's a relevant theme for everyone to be aware of, that fitness is not a vacuum. The things in your life affect your fitness, and fitness affects the things in your life. It is a symbiotic relationship. And the fitter you get and the better, the more healthier you are, the better those other areas do tend to be. But it's a bit of a chicken and the egg scenario. For most people, what I recommend is starting by at least getting a big focus on your fitness, and because it is an area of your life that you can progress in, and progress equals happiness. It's a very easy area of life for you to take charge of and go, cool, I am going to, I want to lose a kilo this week. If you're over 100 kilos, it's pretty easy to make that happen, right? You start eating better, you start eating in a deficit, you start going for a few walks, you'll lose that weight pretty quickly. And then you start to feel like you're progressing. And then it can be easy when there are other areas of your life that are not moving forward as far and as fast as you would like, that it's easy to kind of get down on yourself. But it's really easy to then switch your focus to an area that you have control over, a lot of control over, which is your fitness, and start moving that needle forward to feel like you're progressing again. So if you are feeling a bit lost, you're feeling a bit stuck, you're feeling a bit, you feel like you want a little bit more, feel free to book in a call. Head to fit-dad.club, book in a call with us. We'll have a chat about where you are right now and where you want to be, but we'll help you come up with a holistic plan of what does your whole life look like? What are the relevant constraints that we can either navigate or eliminate and allow you to be the best version of yourself by not stressing about all the shit that we don't need to stress about. But sometimes it takes that outside perspective. Anyway, that's it from me. Lots of love. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment them in the chat, or leave a review, or send us a DM on Instagram or whatever. And I'll look forward to reading them then. Till next week. Peace out.